1, 2, 3. Hey, I'm Joel Haver.
I'm Dan Lotz.
I'm Zaid Aftab.
And we made a new movie. And we don't know what the title will be for sure, but it might be Love Celeste.
Might be.
We're sitting here, the last day of filming. We have finished the movie here in Dubai, where Zaid lives.
I live here.
And this is a fun project that in some ways feels a long time coming.
It does, yeah.
Because in 2020, we were all making quarantine movies. And we're in a little community of filmmakers online who all make $0 movies. And we were all like really tiny channels at the time, just watching each other's stuff. And I remember Zaid sent me his movie, The Printer and the Boy.
Yeah.
And you made that over 3 months of quarantine?
I made that around, for 3 months. I shot and edited around that time. Yeah, so that was my first film.
Yeah, and I saw it, and it was really great and beautiful. And at that point, Dan and I had been talking, and Dan had made a good handful of movies at that point, and you made some movies during quarantine as well. I made one. So we were all kind of bonding over this weird isolated period where the people with our toolkit of filmmaking could still make films. I feel like Hollywood shut down for a while. Everything else shut down. But we still had the tools to make stuff, and we were sharing that together. That was really special.
Yeah, it was really cool just to kind of, I guess, get more involved with the community and just see that people could still make stories even though people were sort of like told that you couldn't.
Yeah. And then life goes on. You make more movies, Dan makes more movies, and I make more movies.
Yeah.
And we just share them and engage with them, and we've always been mutual admirers of each other.
Yeah.
And I met Dan once on a trip through Illinois, and I've never met Zaid because Zaid lives halfway across the world.
Yeah, in the Middle East.
In the Middle East. And but we had a thought. Me and Dan knew we wanted to make a movie together this year. And my pitch to Dan was, I'm like, let's do it in a foreign country. That will be an interesting challenge. It'll give us a really awesome location. It'll push us out of our comfort zone because we've made too many movies at this point, if there is such a thing.
Yeah, and I feel like when you first called me, you hit me up. You were like, Europe. You even said maybe like somewhere in South America, like Argentina. We were like hitting up all these locations. And for the longest time, I think we just kind of said, oh, Europe somewhere. And then you just kind of reached out, and one day you texted me and you just said Dubai, like one word. And I was like, what?
And that's because Zaid reached out to me, and you had a lapse in work. You weren't working at the time.
Yeah,
so
I wasn't working at the time.
And you happened to just message me about that at random because you watched one of my movies.
Yeah, it was pretty random, yeah.
And I had the thought, I'm like, wait, that's perfect. You're not working. We all are big fans of each other. So I'm like, what if we go to Dubai?
Yeah.
And one thing led to another. Yeah. And we bought some kind of spontaneous tickets, came out here, and a movie was made. And I think we spent 12 days out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12 days.
12 days.
And we got a long travel tonight. We leave at 2 a.m. tonight.
Yeah.
And this movie will probably be out in a month and a half from the time of recording.
Yeah.
But you'll be seeing this once it's out.
Yeah.
And it was made through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but mainly sweat.
A lot of sweat. Yeah.
One of the first warnings they gave us is we were coming at a very hot time of the year.
So what happened was that when Joel messaged me saying that, oh, I want to make a movie, I told him, Joel, are you sure? Because it's going to get hot. He was like, yeah, it's fine. What will it be? What, 90? I said, Joel, it's gonna get hot, okay? 90 is like the minimum here.
Yeah.
Joel was like, yeah, we can do it. We'll sweat our butts off. We can do this. And then we got here. And then we realized it. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't easy.
I mean, it's a sauna outside. You're walking through thick, hot, humid air.
And there's the sun glaring.
The sun glaring, but sometimes it's very overcast here, which was very beneficial.
So it was overcast only when you guys were here. But regularly, it's not the case. It's not the case.
It was
we got lucky.
That filmmaker luck there a little bit.
It's usually very sunny here.
Yeah, there was a few times that we shot out in some outdoor locations I won't spoil, but They were very, very grueling, like in terms of like how
Very,
like
very.
there was one day that reached up to like 110.
And it said it felt like 120, and that's Fahrenheit, of course. But
Yeah, and we were cooking. We
Yeah,
were really
We
cooking.
were cooking. Yeah, one of the days we shot, it was the hottest day of the month for that month.
yeah,
And I don't know why we chose it. We just ended up shooting that day. And yeah, some of my friends told me that it was one of the hottest days
yeah.
of that month. Yeah.
And we felt it firsthand. They were probably inside that day, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
we drank many beverages. One of which being Pocari Sweat.
Yeah, you gotta give credit to me, man.
Yeah, Zaid introduced us to Pocari Sweat. I think it's from Japan.
It's
Yeah.
from Japan, Osaka.
And just a great little beverage, not sponsored at all, but it gives you some ions or whatever, and
It's much better than Gatorade.
Yeah.
better than Gatorade.
Less sugar.
I feel like we consumed a good amount of this. Like,
I think at least 20.
yeah.
Yeah.
20 bottles of this or
Yeah.
20
Yeah.
cans of this.
To
Yeah.
stay alive. Yeah,
To stay alive.
Yeah, that was really a very memorable part of it. I think just in general, like just the kind of coming here and like experiencing the culture was a big part of the movie too, and just kind of Zayd showing us around. I think that was really fun, and I don't know, just kind of made the movie special because there were so
Yeah.
many locations that me and Joel were like coming to fresh eyes with.
yeah.
And Dan had this idea that, you know, if you come to Middle East, it might be very different. And then Joel had the same idea. And when then they come here, then they realize it's quite different. You know, it's not the same as.
It's different. I realize it's very similar too, though. I realize
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that are similar, and I love like Iranian cinema, which is
Yeah.
I've always had a bit of a dream myself of
Yeah.
making something set in the Middle East because
Yeah.
I love Kiarostami and Panahi and
Yeah.
just the muted color palettes, how all the buildings are all like lighter shades of yellow
and gray and white. And,
it
yeah.
creates a whole different look, and it's just such a different world.
It's definitely very different for your films.
Yeah. And it was very special to have a gracious host and somebody who could show us around. Because
Yeah.
we'd be very lost without you, and you showed us the best locations and best spots. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that one of the most memorable moments, I don't know if it's necessarily completely filmmaking related, was just coming off the plane and we get into the parking garage and it was so hot. And I remember just being like steaming, and Zayd walked up with a bunch of flowers and just handed us the flowers. And I'm like, this is going to be a great movie. Like I just knew, like just from that moment, I'm like, this is going to be like an epic moment. And the whole movie was like that. I feel like there were so many times we had some crazy moments. I think one thing that we really ran into was like permits. We ran into that. We had one situation where
Yeah, but even then, it was one time.
it was only, but I think it was cool. We actually like overcame that.
Yeah,
ended-
we got a permit,
And it
for
was-
the first time in my filmmaking history. We got a permit, and then we were allowed to shoot.
yeah, I think that was cool.
And I think it
Zayd-
wasn't a very hard thing. It was more like, you know, just get a permit. It'll be easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, it was very, very smooth. I think for the most part. I mean, other than like you know, like the conditions, I
The
felt
terrain
like
conditions, yeah.
the filming went very smoothly, and a lot of the film took place, you know, in this location. So this was like a really good central location for us to film a lot of times too.
Yeah. And I just want to say, I'm sure a lot of people watching this might not be familiar with both of your work, so I strongly recommend Dan's movies and Zayd's movies. And I think if you enjoy this movie, I think this movie does represent a good cross section of our three bodies of work. I think
yeah.
there's a lot coming from all of us that went into this.
Yeah.
And it was great. It's a funny movie at times. It's an emotional movie at times. I think we hit all the right notes.
It's a roller coaster, yeah.
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 I mean, it's not edited at all at this point. I'm excited to see how that Joel guy throws it together. We'll see how he does.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be good. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys enjoy it. It is
Yeah.
out now. And thank you guys for making it with me.
Yeah.
And
Cheers.
a big old Pocari cheers.
Pocari cheers.
But we'll censor it because they're not sponsoring
Yeah,
us.
okay,
Yeah.
fine. Censor it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers. Thanks for watching, guys. And I always end my video saying I love movies.
I love movies.
I love movies.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.